In verse 16, Allah says, أولئك الذين اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى فما ربحت تجارتهم وما كانوا مهتدين. ربحت تجارتهم. This ta followed by another ta. It is called idgham mutamathilain. So you join them. ربحت تجارتهم. Allah says أولئك means those are those that have been described in the previous verses. The munafiqeen اشتروا الضلالة بالهدى. They have purchased error, derailment, kufr. All this thing is dalala. They have purchased this dalala, this error, bilhuda, in exchange of guidance. They have these both choices in front of them. When Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came to them in Medina, in their home place, the whole guidance came to them in a plate of gold. And they had the choice of going with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, accepting the Quran, the truth, and then they had the choice of staying in their disbelief, siding with the Jews. They have this both choice, and this is what is the trade. So they choose one and left the other. So they have made a trade. So Allah is describing this trade by saying, فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ. Indeed, this transaction has brought no profit. Rabiha means bringing a profit. As if when you go to the market and you have, let's say, $100 with you, and you purchase two apples with $100, for example. So you are the loser. You could have bought much better thing with it when you went to the market. فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ. These transactions they have made, that they denied the Prophet Muhammad and they accepted the religion and the way of the Jews. This is a losing transaction. فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ. Nor they were muhtadin. They were not guided in this transaction. They didn't have a very good financial or professional consultant who have consulted them. The Sahaba Kiram Ridwanullah alayhim, Abu Bakr, Umar, and the believers, they are in true sense, they are the one who got the profit in this transaction, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the Jannah in exchange of some inconvenience in this temporary world. And the Sahaba Ridwanullah alayhim, indeed, they understood this, and that's why they sacrificed their life, their property, in exchange of the Jannah. You see, this is the tijara, this is the business, this is the financial transactions that the believers has made with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And out of bounty, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with a very little price, giving us this huge property, which is the Jannah. But the munafiqeen, they did just the opposite. They preferred some convenience in this world. They don't want to participate in jihad. They don't want to sacrifice a little bit of inconvenience in this world. They thought that, okay, I prefer this world. So this is a misguidance, a bad financial transaction in our contemporary sense. That's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, that أُولَٰئِكَ الَّذِينَ اشْتَرَوُا الضَّلَالَةَ بِالْهُدَى. The hidayah came to them. The Quran is in front of us, which is full of guidance, full of hidayah. So if we leave this thing purposefully after knowing the value of this Quran, and we go and take some other sources, we go to the French Enlightenment, we take whatever the philosophers brought us as a guidance, and we leave the Quran, what are we? We are in dalala. This is a total, a real definition of being on dalala, being on deviant, on derailed way after we get the huda. This is استحبوا الضلالة على الهدى. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the proper guidance and help us to stay on our right path and not be like the munafiqeen who have lost the senses and lost the definitions and lost their common sense and lost their eyesight and lost their heart. They have a disease in their heart. All these things, these are the munafiqeen who they are suffering from. فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ. Their tijara is not a profitable one. They have preferred to stay on on acting, which is causing some kind of psychological stress for the munafiqeen. Because a kafir, at least he is clear. A kafir has said that I am kafir. He doesn't have to act in the morning something and in the night something. The munafiqeen, they are staying in this kind of a doubt, which by itself is psychological stress on a person. When in the morning you want to go and say to the believers, I am with you. In the afternoon you go and try to please your elders and say that no, we are mocking them. You see, oscillating between these things, this doubt itself, not defining your position. These are فَمَا رَبِحَتْ تِجَارَتُهُمْ. Allah is describing that this transaction is a losing transaction. They are causing stress on themselves with this kind of finding a middle position. So let's be on the straight path. Let's be on the huda. Let's define where we are and define our position and please only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is our tijara that we had made. It might cause a little bit of inconvenience, a little bit of discomfort in this world, a little bit of needing to go to participate in a jihad, a little bit of needing to wake up in the middle of the night of a winter night and going to Salat al-Fajr, for example. These are a little bit of inconvenience, but in exchange of what? In exchange of Jannah, in exchange of the pleasing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in exchange of the mental peace that a believer has when he reads the Quran, when he follows the message. This is the real hidayah. This is the real hidayah that a believer faces, and this is the hidayah that the Quran guides the believers. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. In the next sessions, we'll see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving analogy to make the picture and the situation of the believer, of the hypocrites, clearer to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will depict it with some analogies that we'll see in the next sessions. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.